Now for the weather. That's right, it's time for our forecast, and there are a lot of things happening here in Sao Paulo, so let's start with the Alpha Group. When it comes to Koi versus NRG, we have a promising team with a world champion and an ex-Gambit player, which we all know is basically gold dust, but some cold takes coming over here, and that is that NRG were Optic, and Optic were good. Moving on to Detonation Gaming versus Giants. This will be the first time for Detonation Gaming of playing outside of Japan. When we have a look at the Riot 1 Invitational that they played in over Christmas, there were only 3 instances of any player getting a positive KD. Meanwhile, looking at Giants, we have some players that have had really stellar performances in the past, including Rhyme, who, while he may be a smoker, is an absolute beast. For Genji versus Loud, if I don't say Loud, the Brazilian fans will eat me. Flags on the green screen. Fuck! With FPX versus K-Core, we may see a cold front coming over from the contributions of Scream and Navera. However, I've worked in Chinese esports before, and I know that those players can be fucking insane. With BBL versus DRX, it is a huge boon to be an already established team. And DRX have to win an international tournament eventually, it's only a matter of when. Cloud9 versus PaperX comes with a red weather warning, as if you are in the vicinity, you are advised to seek shelter. This one is going to be pretty explosive. And while Forsaken and Jing may have owned the stage at Masters Copenhagen, Cloud9 have Ye and Leaf. Heretics versus Evil Geniuses will be an interesting one, as after months of G2 failing to decide whether or not they wanted Kellogg's or Mixwell, Heretics just said, fuck it, we'll take both. Meanwhile, on the side of Evil Geniuses, after months of failing to achieve really anything in VCT, they just said, fuck it, we'll take everybody. For MIBR versus Talon, we are forecasting sunshine and high temperatures, as MIBR bring heat and their 5 other players, and will likely crush Talon. Now moving on to the Omega group and starting off with Liquid versus Secret, the forecast data may be expired for this one, but we're still running on the 2021 model that suggests that the unleashing of Redgar and Nats, alongside the already established roster for Team Liquid, is going to lead them to get a fucking dub. Now for Na'Vi versus Crew, while Crew may have impressed at the Red Bull Homeground 3 in December of 2022, Na'Vi are likely on track for being a potential best team in the world. Not only have they combined the core of the FPX roster, but they've also put it together with the one man who could potentially rival the value that Ardis brought the team, our boy CNED. There's likely to be a lot of devastation in the wake of this one, so we advise you to seek shelter and start shilling now. For Zeta Division versus Leviathan, if we have a look at Japan, it's been quite quiet, no roster changes to be seen. However, looking at what's been happening in South America, bolstering the roster of Leviathan with players like Mizuno and Kesnid, it is forecast to give them a massive boon. Vitality versus Global. I want to pick Global because they're a massive underdog, and Aaron moved so far for it, but I just don't think I can lie to the people. FUT versus Rex Regum Kaon. FUT have won a lot of stuff in their home region, I guess? 100 Thieves versus EDG. It could be a gloomy day for 100 Thieves as they go up against China's most revered roster and the organization that produced League of Legends World Champions. However, we do anticipate a hot streak as 100 Thieves finished the grand finals of the Red Bull Homeground in December with a 3-0 against Cloud9 and this absolutely insane roster that they bring to the competition. Sentinels versus Fnatic. This one is difficult as we reflect upon times gone by. Fnatic still having failed to reach another international final since, despite boasting one of the strongest cores in professional Valorant. But Sentinels picked up 2 world champions, the prodigy of Xset and their renowned coach, as well as having the Ghost of Shroud to protect them. So, yeah, fuck it, them. And lastly, for T1 versus Furia, Steel died so that arguably the best player in Overwatch history could pop the fuck off. Don't let it be in vain. And that's it here for the weather. Now to sports.